What is up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Kwanda coming back to you with another video. All right, y'all, so okay, much better. So today's video, if you cannot tell by the title, will be basically a Q&A slash my most asked questions in regards to texturizers. So everything you need and want to know when it comes to a texturizer will be in this video. I took a lot of the questions that I seen in my comments, a lot of the most asked questions or the most questions that were asked, you know, repetitively. I took those questions, I wrote them down. So yeah, this video is going to be the video you want to watch before you even apply a texturizer. Now, first off, I know for a fact I have so many questions. I have like front and back of a page filled with questions. So this might be a long ass video, but I think I'm just gonna put it into two parts, split it up into two parts if it is too long. So I wanted to go ahead and buy the texturizer that I use because I feel like it's very important to read the instructions. And a lot of people don't do that. A lot of people would jump online, go straight to YouTube, see what everybody else is doing on their videos and think that they can do the same thing. We can't. Like, all of our hair is not the same. There's a lot of different things that are going to equate to how long you leave, you know, a texturizer on, how much you put in your head. Just all of that stuff is going to depend on certain factors, basically. It's very important before you even try to add a texturizer in your head that you read the instructions thoroughly. Basically, this is the one that I use. It's the Children's Texture Softener No Lie System. It's the Just For Me. It detangles, softens, and styles with ease. It has coconut milk, shea butter, vitamin E, and sunflower oil. It says this is for children or even adults as well, for fine, medium, and coarse hair. And it shows you, like, let me turn this light. It shows you like how your strands would look before, during, and after the application. So basically if you have really tightly coiled curly hair, it will loosen up your texture and make your hair more manageable. That's what a texturizer does. It's still a chemical, just like a relaxer. It's really just a mild form of a relaxer, but it's still a chemical that you're putting in your hair. So be mindful of that. Once you put this in your hair, if you are natural, you are no longer natural. No longer considered natural if you're putting a texturizer in your hair. Right off the bat, on the back of this box, it has a warning right here. And I can tell you that it does tell you a lot of information just in the warning alone without even looking at the instructions. So it says to basically do not use if your scalp is irritated or injured. Do not use on hair that has been treated with like a perm. Do not use on bleached hair or permanently colored hair that is breaking, splitting, or otherwise damaged. Do not use if your hair has been previously texturized or relaxed. If your hair has been previously texturized or relaxed, it says only apply this to your new growth, which is why when you guys ask me why or if I'm only putting it on my roots, or sometimes I like to go like a little bit further down, I usually put it on my roots and my edges. That is why, because I have previously texturized my hair in the past. It doesn't matter how long ago it was, unless all of that has completely grew out or you did the big chop and you're completely natural, you would only apply this to your new growth. So right off the bat, that information is on the back of the box before you even read the instructions. All right, y'all, so here are the instructions. It's like a pretty good sized page of instructions, and I basically went in and highlighted all the important information. I think I already told you what was on the back of the box, but I want to clarify and put this information in here. So it says do not use if your scalp is irritated or injured. For example, if you've scratched your scalp or if it's sore, you know, sometimes you can scratch your scalp so hard that you can actually get you know, a scratch or wound in there. So if there's any wounds or scratches or sores in your head, do not apply this. Do not use on bleached, permanently colored, dyed, or tinted hair. Or if the hair is breaking off, split, or damaged. So if your hair is breaking off, you got split ends, or your hair is damaged in any type of way, I would not recommend doing this. Make sure, you know, you nurse your hair back to health and make sure it's in a good state before you apply this, because like I said, this is a chemical. Don't shampoo your hair for at least 48 hours prior to using a texture softener. So if you just washed your hair yesterday, you have to wait like 48 hours at least to apply a texture softener. Don't scratch, brush, or otherwise irritate or stimulate your scalp prior to use. Don't use if braids or extensions have been removed within the past 2 weeks. I'm not gonna lie, I have done that. I don't really see what that would do, but I mean, if it's up to you what you want to, up to your discretion, I would say. Don't pull or stretch hair during application. Don't use heat in any step of the process except for styling after you've completely washed all the product, blow dried your hair. But I wouldn't recommend flat ironing your hair right after you put a texturizer in your hair. Don't touch up new growth for at least 8 weeks. So if it's been less than 8 weeks, do not reapply this. I have a timing chart on here. Now, I am going to say, this timing chart, I don't follow this because my hair does not take, it says to leave this on as long, from 11 minutes to 16 minutes, depending on your hair texture, but I do not leave mine on this long. So, I feel like it's going to be like a trial and error type thing. But basically the timing chart says for fine hair, the total application time would be 4 to 5 minutes, total processing time 5 to 6 minutes, which equals a total maximum time of 11 minutes. For medium hair, application is 4 to 5 minutes, processing 5 to 8 minutes, with a total maximum time of 13 minutes. And for coarse kinky hair, application is 5 to 7 minutes, processing time 7 to 9 minutes, for a total maximum time of 16 minutes. I do not leave this on my hair for no 16 minutes. Like I was saying, I have between probably like medium and coarse kinky hair. I don't leave the texturizer on for 13 to 16 minutes like it says. Anything, I leave it on for 10 minutes or less. Hair, definitely make sure your hair is detangled. I honestly don't apply it to my hair when it's in a curly state, because to me, I feel like I can't thoroughly get the product in there. Suitable for previously relaxed hair when applied to new growth only. Retouches, including previous texturizers or relaxers. Again, I'm emphasizing this, new growth only. Do not put this on your whole head if you have previously been relaxed or texturized. That is just going to over process your hair. And then, you know, when you see people whose hair comes out stringy, that's why. Because either they left it in too long, or their hair has been previously processed with a relaxer or a texturizer or some type of other chemical, and then they're going back over their whole head with this, and then they're over processing. So the retouch process, it says for normal to fine hair, 10 to 12 weeks. For medium to coarse hair, 8 to 10 weeks. Of course, that is going to be personal preference as well. For me, I go months between retouching my hair. I don't like to retouch my hair too often. I don't like to just keep putting a whole bunch of chemicals and all that in it. I texturize my hair and I wait probably 3 or 4 months, sometimes 5, before I do another one. And I don't know, that's just my personal preference. I don't feel like I need them that often, but it just depends. Like if you feel like your hair needs them more often than what my hair does, like I said, go right ahead, but just make sure, like the instructions say, if you have medium to fine hair, wait 10 to 12 weeks. Medium to coarse hair, 8 to 10 weeks. But I like to let it stretch as long as I can when it comes to my hair, so I wait months in between my retouches. So yeah, that's all the important information as far as the instructions. I'm going to go ahead and get my list of questions out, and we're going to answer those questions. So one of the questions that I get asked a lot in some form, shape, or fashion: does a texturizer make your hair curly? There's people out there that really think that putting a texturizer is going to give you curls if you don't already have them. That is completely false. In order to use a texturizer or get the curls that you're looking for, your hair has to already be curly. Texturizers do not make your hair curly. That's not what they do. Not gonna magically create curls in your hair if you do not already have some type of curl there. Question number 2. Will it look this way after you go swimming or when you get it wet? Of course, if your hair curls up when it's wet, then it's gonna curl up regardless if you put a texturizer in your hair or not, right? There's no certain, I'm trying to think of how to say this. Basically, swimming is not gonna mess it up. Like, a texturizer is permanent. It's not gonna, water is only gonna make your curls pop more. So when it comes to like a good wash and go or anything like that, you're gonna need water. You're gonna have to apply water to your hair to get your hair curly, right? Whether you have a texturizer or not. So if you go swimming, get your hair wet in any type of way, no, it's not gonna affect your hair. When you go swimming, of course, there's chlorine in the pool, so you want to protect your hair because your hair is chemically treated and you don't want that chlorine to dry out your hair. I've heard that it's good to put in like a leave-in conditioner in your hair before you get in the pool, and then after you get out the pool, make sure you immediately go and wash your hair, because one thing about curly hair is it dries out quickly, and then when you're putting chemicals in there, it's gonna dry out and be a little bit drier, and then when you're adding chemicals, it's going to dry it out even more. So it's really important to moisturize your hair, but definitely if you're adding any type of chemical in it, it's even more important to moisturize your hair. Which sends me into the next question that I have been asked, or that was asked in my comments: do you still need products? Of course. Whether your hair is texturized or in its natural state, you're always gonna need products. How many products you need is just going to be dependent on a lot of things. He over here grunting. I am a simple girl. I don't have time to be putting 10 products in my hair to achieve the results. Most of the time I use 1 to 3 products in my head. You do not need a lot of products. One of the most important things, like I just said, is to moisturize your hair, especially after getting a texturizer. Moisturize, moisturize, moisturize. When your hair is curly, coarse, and kinky, your hair tends to dry out more. I feel like the most important products are going to be conditioners, deep conditioners, moisturizing creams, things to make sure that your hair does not dry out. The good thing about texturizers is it does make your hair, you know, more manageable, so you don't need a lot of products. Into my next one: do I need to put this on my roots, edges, or my whole head, and why? Like I said in the instructions, okay, y'all, my son is gonna be making a little cameo until I can get him calmed down because he's a little excited over there. But did you make your camera appearance for today? Huh? Okay. So, do I put this on my roots, edges, whole head, and why? So like I was saying in the instructions, you would only apply a texturizer to your whole head if your hair is natural. That means any chemicals prior that you've put in have completely grown out. Whether you did the big chop or, like I said, you just completely let those chemicals grow out of your whole head. Next question is, how do I differentiate between my new growth? That was a good question, first of all. I know for me, how I tell the difference between my new growth is usually my new growth is a lot more frizzy and puffier as the rest of my hair. That's how I can tell, you know, my new growth. So I feel like that's probably how you guys would do the same. I would just say, look in the mirror, take a close-up look of your hair a few weeks after you apply texturizer, and you will be able to tell the difference between your new growth and your hair that's already been Texlaxed. Like I said, it'll be poofier and it'll probably be more tightly curled than the rest of your hair. All right, the next question, is it permanent? Yes, a texturizer is a chemical, just like a relaxer. It's just a milder form. Yes, a texturizer is a chemical. It is permanent. The only way that you can get rid of a texturizer is by either doing the big chop, cutting it off, or growing it out. That is the only way that you can get rid of a texturizer. Next question, how long do I leave it in? Again, that depends on so many things. It's gonna depend on the length of your hair, the texture of your hair, if your hair is fine and thin, if your hair is kinky, coarse, and thick. Next question is this low maintenance? It depends on what your definition of low maintenance is. To me, I would say it's low maintenance because it makes my hair easier to manage to where I don't have to do as much. So to me, it's low maintenance. And I ain't got time to be doing a lot of stuff to my hair. So I feel like if I can do it, anybody can do it. I mean, you don't have to do a lot. You're just applying the texturizer. The texturizer is going to make your hair more manageable. If it's your first time ever applying a texturizer, I would say it's better to leave it in not long enough than leave it in too long, because you don't want to over process your hair. If you leave it in and you find that you could have left it in longer, then the next time, you know, take note of how long you left it in, and then the next time leave it on a little bit longer than that. But I'd rather my hair be under processed than over processed. It's going to be, you know, trial and error with trying to figure out how long to leave it in. So another question that I got asked is it easier to straighten your hair with a texturizer? Yes, because your hair is more manageable, especially, you know, when you wash your hair and blow dry your hair. That's probably the hardest part. When you have thick hair, long hair, curly hair, that's probably the hardest part, in my opinion. So it makes that process so much easier. You do, you know, start straightening your hair, yes, it will make it so much easier. All right, so the next question is, can I put my hair in a ponytail or an updo? Yes, only after the application process you can put your hair in an updo or a ponytail. But if you're in the middle of your application, definitely do not, because that can further straighten your hair, and that's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep our curls. We're just trying to soften them up and make them a little bit more loose. Next question that I got was about diluting your texture. I don't think it would help at all. If anything, adding anything extra besides what's in the box, to me, would weaken the texturizer. I feel like you wouldn't get the best results if you did that. So me personally, I would not dilute. A texturizer is already a milder form. So does it affect growth? As y'all can see, compared to that first video that I put out about adding a texturizer, my hair has grown a lot. So no, my hair comes all the way here. As long as you're taking care of your hair, moisturizing your hair, making sure you're doing your deep conditioning and protecting your ends, then your hair is going to grow. The only way that it would affect your hair is just like if you didn't have a texturizer. If you're not taking care of it, you're not moisturizing it, you're gonna see breakage and you're not gonna retain length. Can you do this on dyed or relaxed hair? And as y'all can see, a lot of these questions have already been answered just by reading the instructions. If you were, for example, to color your hair a couple months ago and you want to do a texturizer, I feel like that would be okay. But if you just recently dyed your hair, definitely I would not do that. But yeah, those are mainly the questions that I saw. I hope I answered all the questions that you guys had. Don't do what you see other people do. Make sure you're doing what's best for you and your hair, okay? That is all that I have for this video. Like I said, I hope you guys learned something. I hope this was helpful for you guys. I will talk to you guys in my next video. Bye.